Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we help the Empire crush rebel scum in the rundown.
Plus, I talked to the actress behind my favorite Star Wars Padawan.
If you find my friend, you must trust him.
And then we head to Yoshi's Woolly World for a new look at the game. Also coming up, Marissa and Jose team up for a review of the intense game Veloci. Ben and Jose get going with Lara Croft, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. My midichlorian count is low, so I've started to take a supplement, and my doctor has also recommended a daily dose of the rundown. Everyone will be able to try out Star Wars Battlefront a little bit early. EA has announced that it will hold an open beta test for the new game early next month on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Yes, this is an open beta that will be available to everyone who owns those systems, and you don't need to pre-order the game or do anything else to get in. The beta will feature 2 levels, the 40-player Battle of Hoth and the survival mission on Tatooine, where you fight off wave after wave of Imperial enemies. Keep in mind that any progress you make in the beta will not carry over to the final version of the game when it launches on November 17th. A Thief's Journey is going to come to an end just in time for spring. Naughty Dog has announced that the long-awaited Uncharted 4: A Thief's End will hit the PS4 on March 18th, 2016. This is developer Naughty Dog's first project developed for the PS4, although they also ported their PS3 hit The Last of Us over to the system. Uncharted 4 will see a slightly older Nathan Drake face his deadliest mission yet, and along with the main campaign, after launch there will also be some single-player story DLC, the first in the series.
Hang on, Nathan!
Couple of my favorite topics in the rundown. Here's one of my favorite people, Scott Jones, to talk about them. How are you?
What do you want to start with?
Let's start with Uncharted 4 getting a release date, March 18th, 2016. I will be off that day.
I just want you to know that is exactly 3 days before I turn 25.
Oh, really?
My birthday, yeah.
Wow, think of it as an early birthday present.
Mark your calendars now. I can't believe this is finally officially on the calendar.
Yes.
We've been wanting this. We've been waiting for this for so long.
I can't believe that they didn't all hustle to get this thing out earlier, because Sony doesn't really have one of their, primo exclusives to prop up. They're doing all kinds of stuff with Battlefront, which we're about to talk about, but I feel like this was such an integral, important
This is you
game.
complaining right now.
A little complaining,
Oh my
but PS4 is kind of relying on the third-party stuff out there.
You listen to me.
Yes, they needed to make it.
Are big
I know
and complicated.
They
They take more time than they've ever taken before. Can I do my Sully impression?
Sure.
Hey, Nathan, let's get a cream to mint.
Unbelievable.
That was pretty good.
It's like a Muppet.
How about mint juleps?
So bad. Okay.
Two mint juleps.
I don't think they ever say mint julep at all
think they
in
said
the
that once.
Uncharted
In 3 they
games.
said it.
All right, Star Wars Battlefront. Here's something that we all have to be happy about.
Yes.
EA is opening up the doors and saying, we think we got something cool here.
Yeah.
Was that my Bill Clinton?
That was.
All right.
You want me to do Sully again?
Okay. We think we got something cool here.
Yeah, for
Everybody play this. Go ahead.
I mean, this is a genuine open beta.
Yep.
You don't have to pre-order the game to get involved. Everybody can get involved.
That is so gutsy, right? That's
Yeah.
like saying, okay, we have something wonderful, we want you to play it, and you are going to become a true believer. And I mean, I have played it a little bit. I've played some of the beta content or some of the early content at E3. It is ridiculous. There's so much stuff happening.
Can you drive an AT-AT?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. DICE has thrown everything that they can into this experience, and it looks almost
Is
photoreal.
Chewbacca unlockable?
I think so. I think some of the heroes and all that stuff, I can tell you that I'm not surprised by how beautiful this game looks.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
can't wait for
absolutely
this. I think
incredible.
this is another smart move from EA.
Yeah.
And a very smart move for Battlefront, and I'm just glad it lives.
Yeah.
You know, after pandemic, the original
know.
studio that built
Yes.
the original Battlefront, they're gone now. EA has picked up the reins,
Yeah.
and they're moving it all forward.
A beloved franchise returns. But right now, we've got more Star Wars love for you. Marissa interviewed Ahsoka. Here we go.
Ahsoka. My name is Ahsoka Tano.
Actually, I'm gonna try not to geek out right now because I am already wearing one of your dresses that you made for her universe, but you also work on an amazing show called Clone Wars. Can we talk about that?
Yes, I'm actually the voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and she just came back on Star Wars Rebels as well. It was a big surprise. Season 2 will be starting soon in the fall on Disney XD, but Ahsoka was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. Nobody knew that he had a Padawan, and we got to follow her for 6 seasons on Clone Wars.
What is it like getting the call? Because I'm assuming you're a big geek. Of course, you're making these amazing dresses for women that are Star Wars based. But I'm just wondering how it was for you to actually get the call to be a part of the Clone Wars.
You know, when I first got the call to be Ahsoka in Clone Wars, I didn't know anything about it because the project was so top secret at the time. I knew that it was a new Star Wars animated series, and I knew that it was a new character, which to have the opportunity to originate a new character in the Star Wars universe is few and far between. I felt like I had won the lottery. And then once Ahsoka came out and we got to follow her journey, it really is such an honor, and it's an honor I do not take lightly. And so I try to live the Star Wars lifestyle as best as I can because I want to just show how much of an honor it is and how much, as a fan, I appreciate being a part of the universe.
I have something else to attend to.
The Sith Lord.
There are questions. Questions that need answering.
When you jump into the role of Ahsoka, what is the mentality behind it? Like, do you just bring yourself and your voice through, or is there something else behind it?
You know, it's a little bit of both. I will say part of the reason I got the role is because I showed a little bit of sass and spunk in the audition, and they liked that. They said in my first session, they said, actually just use your own voice and be yourself, which was nice because I got to have input in how I said certain lines and really creating this new character from scratch. Ahsoka oftentimes is a lot tougher than I am. So she's really tough. She doesn't really laugh a lot. She doesn't cry. Sometimes I have to like zone in and be tough and not so emotional.
I can't believe a Jedi would attack a place this sacred.
We have a lot of fans here today especially, but you also have a lot of people I know coming up to you asking how they can get into voice work because I know it's somewhat of a dream for a lot of people, but how did you get your start?
You know, I moved out to LA in 2001. I had been acting ever since I was 12 in Orlando, Florida. I did theater and I did television in Orlando. And then I moved out to LA in 2001 and I started doing on-camera television and film, and my agent just started sending me out on voiceover. I didn't have any experience, but I think the biggest misconception is people don't realize that voice acting is acting. It's kind of the same thing. You just need to learn the techniques of standing behind a microphone and not moving around. But I was very lucky. I will say it didn't happen overnight. I auditioned for 4 years before I got Ahsoka on Clone Wars. So I was rejected a lot, but that's the thing with acting. You only get 1 out of 100 usually.
And Kanan, if you find my friend, you must trust him.
If he's all the things you say, we can't afford not to.
Trust him.
Ashley Eckstein is awesome, and she is welcome on EP anytime. And you know what? We are counting down to Star Wars. We've got 100 days of Star Wars memories kicking off later this week, and Ashley is going to be providing one of those for us.
Coming up next, we check in with another strong female protagonist. I'm talking about Lara Croft Go after this. Welcome back to EP Daily. Marissa, our old friend Lara Croft is coming to visit us again soon. I'm not talking about the AAA console PC version.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a very small version of Lara.
Oh, she's so teeny tiny. Packaged in iOS form, here is Ben and Jose with Lara Croft Go.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
Later this year, we're all going to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. We are going to play it because it's going to be a good game. But until then, we can spend some time with Lara Croft if we have mobile phones, thanks to Square Enix putting out Lara Croft Go. Now, if that name Go sounds familiar, it's because this is part of their Go series, their franchise. I don't know if you want to call it that, quite that. But last year, they put out Hitman Go, so they are trying to kind of start a new thing here. Jose, how'd you like Lara Croft's version?
Well, this is very different than Hitman Go. Hitman Go, I mean, it plays kind of similar, but in Hitman, it was like, oh, I'm trying to get a certain amount of moves to do a certain amount of things, and this is just more of an adventures-based Go game, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. You're controlling Lara Croft, and you're moving her up incremental step by step by step. Sounds easy at first, and you're like, all right, I'm going to traverse the land. You can only go this way. There's tons of options to go, which would have been cool if they give you multiple options to go about things. And then they start introducing enemies, and you start introducing different weapons and spears, and you're like jumping across enemies, and you can only attack enemies from the side or behind, or else they'll whoosh, strike out at you, bite you, eat you, you'll fall off a cliff, spiders will jump on you.
Yep, all that's true.
But you know what? I did have a little bit more fun, I think, than I did Hitman. I felt like Hitman had a little bit more stress attached to it, because I'm like, damn, I'm only supposed to do this in a certain amount of moves and get to this thing. This is just like, all right, I can have some more time to like strategically think about things. And
well, they stripped out all of the sort of level requirements that were in
the
Hitman
Moleskin
Go.
notebooks.
Yeah,
So
well,
there, you have 5 Moleskin notebooks to traverse through.
that's all you go through.
It gets crazy because when you think like, okay, the stationary snakes aren't going to bother me some. This is fine. I can see which way they're looking. I'm going to work my way around. Maybe attack this one first, attack this one next. Boom, I got it. You have these iguana-like serpents that start chasing you, and they will follow the path that you go on, so you have to lead them to traps. And then you get these spiders who are just and then it's like jumping on you. You're like, oh my God, stuff's getting crazy. So you have to take spears and you start chucking them at things. It gets intense.
It does. There's a lot of
not being able to like move as you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving platforms. You have to figure out how to manipulate them and when you move and when you don't move and when you stop. So there's a lot of trial and error you're going to find on some of the later levels.
Oh, yeah.
But I really had a good time with this, and I think you're right. The fact that they remove those level requirements means it's less stressful and you can breeze through the adventure a little more
you
and
can
see
enjoy it.
more of the game.
You have to see it too because there are hidden objects throughout the game. So there's like pieces of like talisman you need to find, or there's jewels that you can find that if you collect all of them, you'll end up unlocking different outfits for Lara Croft. And who doesn't love looking at Lara Croft in a Hitman outfit? You have to actually buy that. But there's other outfits that you can go ahead and unlock, which is kind of cool. So it's like, all right, I get to play through the game again.
Yeah.
With a different outfit on.
I mean, I think Square did a nice job translating the concepts of Hitman Go to Lara Croft.
Here's the Go concepts.
Yeah, this is less of a strategy game.
Wait till Final Fantasy Go comes out.
I would play that. I like these Go games.
Deus Ex Go.
I think it's fun. I did kind of wish that they had kept the board game feel. That was one thing I really liked about Hitman Go.
Little pieces?
Yeah, I kind of wish Lara was like a little figure, the same way that the Agent 47 was like a little shiny, looked like a little action
It's
figure.
very Age of, or the Temple of Osiris sort of style, you know, that top-down isometric view.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels
Well, they specifically don't say Tomb Raider. I think they don't want to say Tomb Raider when it's just Lara, and they don't want to brand it an official part of the Tomb Raider canon.
Even though you are raiding teams.
And that's maybe also why they have a giant, like, flying serpent who's chasing you half the time.
Is it a serpent or is it a giant Komodo dragon?
It could be a giant chameleon, Jose. I don't know what the it is, but it's scary.
Luckily, the game isn't terrifying, Ben, and that's why I'm giving Lara Croft Go 8 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 as well. Go! Play this game.
Go!
Even if you're scared of monitor lizards.
Go!
Thanks, boys. I'll be picking up that game in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay, Jones, guess who I am?
What are you doing? I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. Apparently that's your Yoshi impression.
Yeah, no, you do yours.
I'm not doing that.
Come on.
No, I don't do those. You do those.
All right, let's see Jose's.
I am here with JC. We are talking about Yoshi's Woolly World. First off, this is amazing. Can I have this? Tell me a little bit about, the idea, the concept behind Yoshi's Woolly World and why Yoshi's such a perfect character for this world.
I think Yoshi's Woolly World lends itself to a lot of different things. You've seen Yoshi in different styles. You see him kind of animated different ways. He's been 2D before. They did experiment a little bit with Yarn and Kirby. They did apply that to the world. But Yoshi there's something about him where his animations, like his feet turn into like wheels. When he flies, his feet can turn into propellers, or like little sweat yarn bubbles come off his face every time he's like struggling to get up. So there's little details about the felt and the cloth and how buttons and lace kind of interact with each other, especially like when you're walking around the world, how Yoshi flattens things as he steps on them. So all those little details, and Yoshi was a perfect character for it. It just feels right.
What does having the game on the Wii U mean for players out there that are going to be either playing with a gamepad or something else?
It's kind of fun because the Wii U has a couple different control schemes that people can use. So if you feel comfortable with a Wii U Pro controller, you can use it for this game. Some people can use the gamepad. There's a variety of different controls for people that are either just getting into it, or if they just want some variety and want to try different control schemes with it, that's fine too. You can even adjust a couple the way like you throw. If you want to throw really quickly, you can just like hold down the button and let go. There's like settings for that. So very accommodating for new players as well as returning players.
And there's even a Yoshi Woolly World amiibo, like a yarn amiibo.
There is a yarn amiibo.
That's life-changing stuff.
Well, there's actually 2 types of amiibo, right? So you have the first set of amiibo, which are multicolored. They're small. And then we have the one that you just held earlier, which is the Mega Yoshi yarn amiibo. And that is a giant amiibo, and it's like standing upright. It's huge. That is actually an amiibo where you can tap the amiibo into the game and you can change a couple things. If you're using one of those amiibo, I think you'll be able to duplicate a Yoshi. So if you're playing by yourself, you can control 2 Yoshis at once. And so if one goes away, you always have someone else. You can always pop that one and get back, or if they're split up, you can just control one. Don't worry about this one, will come back, and you can always have like an extra buddy as you're playing by yourself. It's also compatible with a bunch of other amiibo too. So for example, if you have like a Mario amiibo, you can tap the Mario amiibo in and it'll give Yoshi this Mario skin. And so Yoshi's got this like little mustache on his face. He's got blue overalls. Like there's a lot of different things. So we hope that people out there that have amiibo just start scanning stuff, see what works, because there's a lot of them.
Hey, Marissa.
Yeah.
Guess who I am now? Guess who I am now?
Is that you in about 20 years? Don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got Velocibox. Gross. Welcome back to EP Daily. Now, I don't pretend to be the best video gamer of all time, but sometimes there are those video games that just make you want to pull your hair out. They are so hard, but I will let Jose explain. We take a look at Velocibox.
I swear there are some video game developers out there that just want to steal your soul with their game, and I feel like that's exactly what is happening in Velocibox. This game, I don't even know if it's a lesson in patience or video game skill. What are we doing in this game, Jose? We are just traveling through some kind of warp.
No, we're not.
We're dying.
That's what you do in this game. You die. This game starts off with a seizure warning, and there's a good reason for that, because all this game is intense, flashing lights, all up in your grill, and you dying a lot trying to collect orbs to get to the next level of this game. Look,
Yeah.
I played many a hard game, okay?
Yeah.
It's what I do. I
Preach.
enjoy me a solid video game experience every once in a while. Sometimes I like me some hard games. It took a little while for me to catch on to Dark Souls and realize that dying was in fact a fun thing to do. But I did eventually come around and I started to enjoy it. So this game comes in, I start playing and I'm like, oh, okay, go through the tutorial and it's like, hey, you start off as a little box.
Yeah, you do.
You can push the X button and you jump to the roof. Simple enough. You push the X button, you come back down. Great. Sounds awesome. Sounds easy. Oh, if you move left and right, you can move your character onto the sides of the walls. Oh, this is crazy.
Novel idea.
If you move the characters to the left and the right, and while you're jumping, you can like do some like swiveling and some jumping. You're like, okay, this game's gonna get very technical right away. You go to level 1. In this game, level 1 took me at least a half an hour to figure out.
Begin. New high score to level 2.
It just goes so fast, and you're going through, and it's like, no, go, die. Oh, it just died. Damn, that sucked. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Oh, high score, 112. Great.
Yeah, and
Go. It's dead. Oh, crap.
I mean, the game does want you to restart again and restart quickly because obviously it knows it's very difficult, and that's fine. So the respawn is very quick.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
But I don't really want to respawn and play again. I'm not getting anything out of this game other than a laugh at myself for dying the first few times. After 5, after 6, after 7, after 8.
After
when I feel
96.
After 96, after you feel like you just haven't even really progressed that much at all. I swear I only got to level 3. And I was still dying so much, and I just didn't even understand
Level 3 is
why.
ridiculous. Level 3, they start adding where the world starts like rotating around and like blocks start coming out. Even just the first level, it's very simple, kind of like, it's just fast. It's like you have to jump up and down, move to the side, and that's it.
I know.
And then it starts adding elements like, well, now you have to jump up and down, but there's going to be sections of the world where you have to jump and then like slide over.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be things where like, well, now the world's going to start shifting at you, and you're not going to know which way.
Level 2 begin. Game over.
I feel bad that we're ragging on this game for being hard. I feel bad that we're doing that because that shouldn't factor into our enjoyment of it, but unfortunately it does. Like, that's all of it. That's all this game is, really. It's just frustration.
This game is built for you to hate and built for you to find the joy in discovering how good you are when you're actually making it through. You will just get maddeningly frustrated within an hour, and you won't want to even play again.
That's true.
Because I don't.
That's true. I applaud Loot Interactive for publishing indie developers. I applaud them for giving them money and putting their games out there. If there are people out there that really want this, that feel like they can overcome this challenge, then
Some do.
absolutely.
There are a few hundred people out there that want this game.
Okay, then those people can get it. I'm not going to play it anymore. I can't. I just can't do it. Also, it gives me a headache.
Gives me a headache too. That's why I'm giving Velocibox a 3 out of 10.
Oh man, it gets a 5 for me.
A 5?
Yeah.
Why, yes, I am still having Velocibox nightmares. Don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got the Twitter question of the day.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It's time for our Twitter question of the day. This one's from Ryan Chenard, not Kyle Chenard.
Wait, Ryan Chenard?
This is his brother.
Are you sure?
At Chenardizzle, asking, what, if any, are your favorite movie/game references within video games? So asking about movies that are referenced or other games that are referenced within a game. So it's a kind of...
it's a very tough coconut,
yes.
But you know what? I got it open.
Okay.
First one that comes to mind for me is Retro City Rampage from our old friend at V Blank Entertainment, Brian Provinciano. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, that game is loaded with awesome references.
Wall to wall.
Conker's Bad Fur Day had lots of movie references, lots of tongue-in-cheek, lots of Terminator, yeah, absolutely. What are you doing, the Matrix
That
dance?
was my Matrix dance.
That's very good, okay. Also, Biggs and Wedge are characters that appear in the Final Fantasy games, the Mad Hazard games.
Star Wars reference.
Yes, right. And Broforce is unbelievable. You guys should play that game. You can play as Blade and Terminator and Chuck Norris.
Wow.
It's super fun.
Very cool question. I don't know. You got a long way to go to climb old Kyle Chenard Mountain, but keep climbing, buddy. Keep climbing.
Remember, if you've got a question for us or you want to get caught up on the show, go to epn.tv.
And you've got to tune in to our next episode. We take a closer look at the Long Dark. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you tomorrow. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
How is the story mode going to work with this game when you guys roll it out?
So yeah, story mode is really a huge focus for us, and that's where the real game will launch. And the idea there is it's an episodic story mode, similar to what the Walking Dead episodic game did. So we'll be launching the first episode by the end of the year, and then we'll be releasing the completion of Scene 1 over the course of next year.